Well, it got started with Bert Henderson, who was an exceptional artist who was born in Owen Sound.
Public school, of course, Victoria School, which is just Oak Brook. And I went to the OSCVI, of course. It was the only high school at that time.
And he was recognized at that time for his exceptional artwork. And he graduated and
went to the Banff School of Fine Arts, then to the Owen School of Fine Arts at Mount Allison University, and then to the University of Waterloo.
On his return, he joined the Owen Sound Artists Association, met other artists, became very involved with some upcoming artists in that area, and he also was involved in establishing the Owen Sound Gallery of Fine Arts. Eventually that gallery became the Tom Thomson Memorial Gallery.
I used to work on the lake ships as a waiter on the passenger ships, and there was a waiter called Bob Huber. He was from Southampton, and I at the time was thinking, wouldn't it be interesting to open an art school somewhere?
And he did teach art classes in the town hall in 1954. And people were very interested in what he had to offer. Dr. Morton and Hazel Edmonds were huge supporters. So when the Bruce County Museum opened, he was given space to teach classes there. And that was in 1955 and 56.
And at that time, the old Mechanics College, which was built in early 1800s, was available, and would I be interested in using that building? And I said I certainly would.
So he established the Southampton Summer School of Fine Art.
The interior, the ground floor, was painted an unbelievable pink, which of course you couldn't possibly, because that would influence all colors. And we had to paint that, and planted flowers and put up stonework all around the building. More or less turned the building into a pretty handsome looking edifice.
He obtained an advisory board of Alex Colville, Lauren P. Harris, A.Y. Jackson, and Arthur Lismer. They did not have any direct responsibility for the operations, but they did advise Bert on how to establish the school.
And I sort of based it on the Banff School of Fine Arts, and based it on Mount Allison's summer school, art summer school.
He actually did not receive any support from the town or town council. He survived on the class fees and the registrations. And he called in as many of the artist instructors that he knew, and they were quite willing to come to Southampton that offered such beautiful vistas and a summer place to stay, and he offered the instructors lodging. Also, he advertised the school far and wide and offered accommodation to students. So it went off to a flying start.
We didn't get any grants. We depended on the tuition paid by the students. Had to advertise, of course, all over, and all that cost quite a bit of money.
Bert found that his income was not sustainable just with the art school, so he was offered a position as curator of the Kitchener-Waterloo Gallery. He worked there for a number of years, but still carried on with the art school.
So eventually it became, for me, it became too expensive to operate, so I exited the situation.
Now the town felt that the school should continue, and they found a great instructor who lived in Goderich but was very involved with the Sarnia Art Gallery. Edna Johnson was well known, had excellent contacts throughout the art world, and she was hired as the artist director in residence for the school, which continued on through the summer months. She renamed the art school to the Southampton Art School, which it continues today. And she was able to attract some very well-established, wonderful instructors, and it ran fairly smoothly. But in 10 years, she realized that there was not enough money coming in. At that time, the town council decided that they would subsidize the art school with public funds to $5,000 a year. Consequently, the art school under Edna Johnson ran very smoothly for 27 years. In 1985, it was realized that there needed to be a board of directors or an art society that would oversee the operations of the art school, and Edna Johnson continued on, but in 1992 she retired. The town relinquished its promise to subsidize the school and gave it up to the Southampton Art Society to run. At this time, the art school was very strapped for funds. They didn't know who they were going to take over the instruction, and someone had mentioned Carol Cleary's name and asked her if she would be the director of the art school, and she agreed. Carol Cleary was responsible for turning the art school right around and getting on its feet. And she also established the art gallery in 1999.
I think it was a natural fit. It gave us a venue to showcase our teachers' work, and then it also gave us an opportunity to showcase local artists and artisans. And I think it's important for a town to build a focus, and I thought we have the museum here and we had the art school, and if you could make the town a center for the arts, then you draw more people. They come for everything.
Yeah? Okay. And my star.
I think part of the success of the art school is that it's small and it has grown organically. It's never been a forced plan to blow it up huge in one year. It started just with a few drawing classes, and it's just evolved and evolved and evolved. And now it has grown to teaching nearly 1,000 students a year. But those are week-long classes or weekend classes, lots of kids classes. And that number doesn't seem to go down. So has grown naturally and it has been supported.
Well, what I like about it is I get to work with children. They're a great inspiration, not only for me as an artist, but as an individual. I love how they have this freeness about them. When they come into my classroom, it's all full of giggles and smiles, and they just love to explore on the canvas, and I love to facilitate that.
The success of the Arts Center really has been on the backs of community-oriented people. Our boards have always been volunteer boards, residents and professionals who dedicate their time to making sure this place keeps running and moving forward. So this exists because of volunteers. It exists because of members of our community who care about the arts.
We're celebrating the 60-year anniversary.
I'm really quite amazed that it's still operating. I'm glad it is. And what did I visualize? I visualized an art center where particularly young people could go and learn the basics of academic painting. And that was the foundation which I based the whole thing on.